Hello and welcome to the Calling the Real You podcast. I'm your host, Pamella Horton, and I call the real you out each and every week with special guests like the one we have today. Today we are talking with Jessica Higdon, and we're going to be discussing ways people are changing their lives through home business ownership. And I'm super excited and very honored to have Jessica as our guest today. Jessica has had a burning desire from the age of 5 to be an entrepreneur. She knew it in her bones that she wasn't meant to work for someone else. And at the age of 12, she even started her first business in middle school, making and selling locker magnets that had a $2.50 profit margin. Not bad for a preteen. She's experienced blows to her ego, to wild success, and everything in between. Jessica has a passion for training women how to make money from their social media, where she created a $10,000 per month income in the network marketing profession. She's also the co-author of her new book, The Networking Revolution, 5 Ways Women Are Changing Their Lives Through Home Business Ownership, and we're going to discuss a little bit more about the book itself later in the show. But let me tell you a little bit why I'm super excited to have Jessica joining us today. My husband and I actually recently became involved in a professional networking marketing company about 8 months ago. Actually, I think it's 8. He thinks it's 5, and it's somewhere in between. And we actually shied away from these experiences for years. And this last 2 years, I was approached by 19 individuals for the same company. And I turned to Eric and I said, honey, there's something to this that we really just need to take a look at. And I'm forever grateful, actually, that we both had the courage to explore it and go past our own limiting beliefs about the industry itself and actually begin to work within it. And it's been very eye-opening. And Jessica's an authority in this industry, and that's why I wanted her to come on the show, because we are really experiencing some unique times in our space, in our world, and in our economy that I'm going to be asking Jessica about later on, and what her simple solutions are regarding this. And what I mean by that is there are people who are in states of transition, who are out of work, who are looking for something more meaningful in life to do, and everywhere in between. And so I would love to talk to Jessica, and I'm going to introduce or have her join us in just a moment. We're going to touch a little bit about that and what that meant for her when she first started. And now I'm going to be just quiet here for a second and welcome Jessica to the show. Jessica, are you still there?
I am here. Thank you so much for having me on.
Wonderful. It's a pleasure, Jessica, and it was great to meet you, too. Everyone, I had the distinct honor of meeting Jessica in person at her book signing this past weekend in Naples at Barnes & Noble, and she's absolutely beautiful, and she's not only just physically beautiful, but she's got this awesome energy about her, very confident, and just something and someone that's very trustworthy comes right through from you, Jessica.
Oh, well, I certainly appreciate that, and that's very good to know. It's always good to hear those things from an outside perspective, so I greatly appreciate it. And likewise, it was so great to meet you, and you have amazing energy as well.
Thank you. You know, I wanted to tap your brain and tap into your expertise a little bit and ask you, just for a few minutes, if you would, share with us what your background is. How is it that you got to where you are, which is wildly successful? Can you share a little bit and take a few moments about that?
Sure. I first of all, you certainly do your homework, because a lot of people that introduce me don't necessarily talk about my childhood entrepreneurial businesses and kind of faux pas. So that's interesting, and I'm glad you brought that up, because it's definitely something that from a young age I knew I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be a business owner, but a lot of people, they know that, they feel it in their gut, and they just don't do anything with it, either out of fear or, circumstance or what have you. So for me, it started at a younger age, but it really materialized when I went to work. When I went into the workforce, I was also going to school full-time. So I was 21 years old, going to school full-time for marketing, actually about to graduate, working at Nordstrom at the makeup counter and wanting to excel there and possibly climb the ladder with Nordstrom Corporate, which is a big department store for those of you who don't know. And things were going good until they weren't anymore. And my boss started treating me horribly. The other women at work started treating me really horribly. And I was coming home really upset all the time. And I realized now that a lot of those people thought I was going to take their job, which is the whole reason they turned on me in the first place, because I was excelling. And I just wanted to be in an environment where I was celebrated because I was excelling, not put down. And so network marketing, home business, it fell into my lap. And at first, I really liked the model. I was young. I really didn't know much about business at all. So the model, it just made sense to me, as it does to a lot of people. But then, I went home. I talked to my parents about it, who were extremely successful in their own right as traditional business owners. And, of course, what did they say? They told me it's a scam, it's a pyramid, it'll never work. All these things that we hear with the stigma that sometimes comes with a home business simply from, ignorance and not being educated on the subject. So, at that point, I just kind of poo-pooed it and said, okay, this must not be what I meant to do. But then, I feel like if we have a calling or we have a passion or some, a path that we're meant to take, it just keeps showing up for us over and over again. Kind of like if you buy a red car, all of a sudden you notice red cars everywhere, whereas you didn't before. And so it just kept showing up for me over and over again. And the desire never really went away. And I thought to myself, okay, well, if I never do this, I'm always going to live in regret of what happened. So eventually, I found a product that I resonated with, and I just jumped in. And, of course, when you have no business experience, you have no business colleagues, you're young, and not too many people take you seriously, it takes some work to get that thing up and running. So for 6 months, I didn't do a single thing, meaning I had zero results. I did, the activity to create the results. So when I say I didn't do a single thing, I mean monetarily. So I was actually working, but I wasn't seeing the money come in. And that's why we get into this business, right? So, I went to all my friends and my family. They thought I was crazy, just as before. All my warm market, all the people that I knew were just friends, other broke college students, and then their parents. And their parents thought I was crazy as well. Or they would listen to me, and I would get all excited that they were going to listen to my presentation. And then at the end, they'd be like clapping, like, "Oh, Jess, that's so cute. You're so adorable." Like just pity, right? So I felt just completely embarrassed, and my confidence was shot. So I decided to, out of desperation, look online and see, okay, is there anybody or any younger person building a business on social media or online in general? And I found some people that had been building traditional businesses through social media and online. And I thought, okay, well, if they can do it, why can't I? So, for a good 18 months, it was a lot of trial and tribulation. And so from 6 months of not having a single sign up, 18 months after that, after coming online onto social media, I actually hit my first $10,000 month, and then, found a system that worked, found a way to connect with leaders and recruit good people. And from there, created trainings on how to do that. And now my husband and I have a 7-figure coaching and training business, and it's just been a wild, wild ride. If you had asked me if I'd be being interviewed on a podcast about my success, 8-9 years ago, I would have told you were totally crazy. So it's been really fun and a fun journey.
That's awesome. It took courage, right, to just keep trying, but also, and more importantly, in my opinion, it took courage to listen to the calling. It was showing up, as you mentioned, for a reason, and it kept showing up, very similar to the 19 approaches that we were made by others, by 19 individuals.
Wow.
For the same company. So I definitely commend you for the courage because of the typical taboo or the typical traditional way that people view the professional networking marketing industry itself. And this is why, again, I wanted you to be a part of it, because I find that the industry, or part of the show that is, because I find the industry is an absolute viable solution for folks who don't know where else to turn or who are struggling financially, et cetera. They just need to find what product or company that they would like to support. And again, we'll get into that a little bit more into the show. But, you know, Jessica, in our world today, it started off before I introduced you that we're in a unique time. There's a lot of people in transition, a lot of people who have been let go from their jobs, who are just wanting to leave their employment because they're not, you know, it might be a hostile environment, or they're not celebrated where they are, or they find themselves being more loyal to the company and their customers than their customers and the company are right back to them as an employee. And economically speaking, I mean, things are a little bit on shaky ground right here, you know, here in the States. You mentioned in your new book, The Networking Revolution, 5 Ways Women Are Changing Their Lives Through Home Business Ownership, that there is a complex problem that we are facing and that there is a simple solution. I know that we've touched upon it, but could you please elaborate more on this?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And you really hit the nail on the head. Things are changing. And I believe some, you know, for the better as well. You know, the stigma's kind of going away as people realize that plan A isn't really working anymore. And a lot of people, they need that plan B. So, you know, the big thing is supporting your local entrepreneur. You know, like I said, there is still that stigma out there. It is fading, but how we can really transition that and transition the economics of your community is by, instead of going to, for example, a Walmart or a Target or something like a big store like that. And of course, we all need to go to those stores for certain things, and they're very valuable, and that's great. But instead of going there, if you need, you know, your skincare, your makeup, or your vitamins, in the home business space, we have some of the best products in the entire world. I mean, and I truly mean that. They have, because there's so much competition, and that's the name of the game, right? Capitalism, competition, it's an amazing thing. Because there's so much competition out there in the home business space, they have to make those products. If they come out with a new company that's direct sales or what have you, they have to make those products phenomenal. There has to be a unique blend. There has to be something that makes people see results, actual results. And so if you have, you know, an issue, a health issue, you need a service done, you want to travel, whatever the case may be, instead of going directly to those stores, why not go to your local entrepreneur? Why not go to somebody who's selling that, who's trying to make it in their home business, and buy from them? Not only will you receive a fantastic product, you'll also help a person out who, you know, it's the law of reciprocity, right? The more you give, the more you get, and you'll be pouring more money into your own local economy and into your own local community. So it really it's a triple threat there, and it's a win-win. And so that's really what we believe, and that's a majority of what the book's about, as well as, you know, how to build your home business and so forth. But I think if people just make that mind shift, instead of being turned off by people that are selling or trying to become entrepreneurs, why not celebrate it? Why not, you know, pour the money back into your local community and help those people out? And in return, you'll make a new friend, and you'll have somebody that will, in return, do the same for you if ever, you know, the case may be down the road that something comes along.
Mm-hmm. You know what I found, and I would love your take on this too. Eric, I mentioned my husband and I've been in the personal development space for over 20 years. I started off my career as a social worker, working with adolescents and families, and I've always been about self-improvement, just growth, spiritual growth, being a better version of myself than I was the day before, and giving back. And I was really taken by surprise how supportive the industry is, and I keep saying these words because it elevates the industry, just network professional marketing industry. I mean, it elevates it. And that's what I want to do, because people have access to this beautiful way of helping themselves grow personally, professionally, spiritually. Would you agree with that you found the same?
Oh, my gosh, completely. I mean, it's that cliche, that old cliche, but it's so true that this isn't a network marketing business, it's a personal development business. And so when you get into a company or you become a part of any type of home business, or really any entrepreneurial venture, it pushes you to your limits, which is actually a really good thing. because it's the only way that you're going to grow. And instead, the alternative is people stay where they're at. They stay comfortable. I actually was talking about this earlier today with someone, but the biggest enemy, I believe, of growth isn't if you're in a bad place. Okay, if you're struggling and you're in a really bad place and you have to make something happen, a lot of times that's a much easier place to grow and take action from than if you're comfortable. If you're comfortable and things are going, just how they should be, and you're just kind of staying in between the lines, not really making a mark, but you've got a good job, you've got a good income, and you're not really struggling in a big way, then that can be a really tough place to grow from and get yourself out of that comfort zone. So nothing does that better than the home business space and network marketing as a whole, or any entrepreneurial venture.
Yeah, so true. So you created this home business matrix, and you talk about 3 ways that someone can open up a business. Share with us what that is and what the 3 ways are, please, and just to wet their whistle.
Yeah, so there's it's more of a tool. Like if somebody doesn't understand what we do, it's really an education tool, because a lot of people think, pyramid, or that you're just earning off the efforts of others, which in some cases, is true. However, that's true for every single business if you look at it. The difference between, a home business versus a traditional business or a corporation is if you work harder, you earn more than the person who didn't. And it has nothing to do with who came in first. That's a big myth. We talk about that in the book. Absolutely nothing to do with that. It has to do with it's pay for performance, right? So the first, kind of traditional business is, corporation. And we all know how that works. You have the people at the top, and if you work for 10 years, then you may be able to get a raise or climb to the company ladder. And I'm not bashing that, because there are some people that love what they do, and we need those people. Okay, so if you love what you do in corporate America, then by all means, go for it. Go for it. Climb that ladder. I think that's amazing, and I'm actually impressed by you, and I think that's awesome, and we need more people like that. So that's, just one way that people can be in business. And then there's the franchise model. So the franchise model is everybody knows what a franchise is. You spend tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars to start your business. And then, you have a set rule book, and you go through and the rule book, and you do what that business does, and everything's kind of taken care of for you, but you're responsible for the marketing fees and everything like that. And then there's the home business, which is what we do, and that's, you pay a couple $100, maybe a couple $1,000, depending on your product, and you're good to go. You don't have to cover any of the software. You don't have to worry about employees. You don't have to worry about, overhead or anything like that. I mean, I guess you do have overhead. It's your product every month, right? It's so minimal.
Right.
So that's, that's one of the reasons that we chose it, because it's low risk, low overhead with unlimited income potential.
Yeah, it's just, again, I'm absolutely surprised that not more people are taking advantage of it. It is something that you need to be personally held accountable for. You are growing your own individual business, and it doesn't happen overnight. What would you say are the most challenging aspects of it? Name 2 most challenging things about growing your home business.
The most challenging thing is worrying about what people think about you. And at least it was for me. It's not even the no's. The no's aren't a big deal from people that you don't know, but the people that you do know, it's worrying about what people think about you is a big problem overall. Not just if you're in business, it's a big problem in our society, but especially when you join a new company, that can be the biggest crusher to people's dreams and drive and all of that, or, listening to others that don't have the results you want, but you're just worried about what they think. And so to get over that, honestly, it just takes doing it over and over and over again. Another great way to get over it is to have success. once you have success, it's amazing how those people that thought that, oh, you would never, it's a scam or you would never make it or whatever, it's amazing how they turn around and then all of a sudden some of them want to join you. It's really funny how that works. But, when you're the first one or you're the starter of this course, of this path, it can be a challenge to deal with people's opinions.
And what would you say, if you could name two characteristics or the mindset, you mentioned mind shift earlier, what would be, again, just to repeat the question, what would be two characteristics or a mindset that's absolutely required for somebody to make it in this industry?
I would say coachability, so the willingness to learn, and an insatiable desire to succeed, a burning desire to succeed. I would say those two, everything else doesn't really matter. If you are uneducated, if you're poor, if you're rich, if you're, black, white, whatever the case may be, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is those two things. If you're not coachable or you think you know everything already, then that's going to be really, really tough for you. And every time, and I had a case of that actually. When I would learn something new, I'd think to myself, oh, well, I've seen that before. Or, oh, well, that's come up before. I already know that. But had I actually done it? No. Had I actually created results from it? No, because I was too in my own head to take action on it, thinking, oh, that's too simple, or, oh, I've already done that before. So those are two big things that I think will make a huge difference if you can just harness those within you.
Oh, that's awesome. I really feel like the industry itself is a way to become free, to become very liberated, and whether it be financially free or, again, just liberated in general. And you really are a really wonderful role model in that sense, and teaching others how to succeed, whether it be through their social media or your coaching, et cetera. And I just want to thank you for your service, because it's an important one, especially where we are. And you're offering a wonderful service. If I could just mention your husband, Ray, real quickly. He's actually how I found you. My husband and I invested in a program of Ray's, and then we found you through him, and the rest is history. But I really just want to congratulate you and thank you for your service. It really is very important. And you're giving people, whether they know it yet or not, this industry, and you specifically, Jessica, are giving people an opportunity to hope, because there's a lot more folks that I know now that are in severe debt, who are having a super hard time, who could use a leg up and just a shot in the arm and a virtual hug, so to speak. And I really feel like your book is doing that. You're giving them a leg up. You're giving them an opportunity to look at their lives differently. And I want to mention the title of your book again. But thank you for your service.
Oh, well, thank you. That means so much to me, and that's why we do what we do. So it's hearing things like that. So thank you.
You're welcome. And everyone, again, Jessica's book is called The Networking Revolution, 5 Ways Women Are Changing Their Lives Through Home Business Ownership. And I know the book is specifically geared towards women, but once I haven't completed it, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm more than halfway through, but my husband's going to be starting it after me, and I know it's not just for women. I know your passion is working with women, Jessica, but anyone who's interested in the industry, really, this is a valuable resource for you. It's an easy read, and I'm enjoying every moment, and it's making me think. And so I'm very happy to let you know that it's available where is it available? How can they find you and the book, Jessica?
Actually, you can go to, it's available on Amazon, is probably the easiest place, or you can go to thenetworkingrevolution.com/buy, BUY, and there's some options there as well, depending on what you're looking for. But yeah, that would be the easiest place. And absolutely, we love men too. I love men just as much as I love women. I definitely have a passion for women, but yeah, you're absolutely right. It can help anybody that's out there just wondering how to build a home business, and also as a tool.
Yeah, well, there's a lot more at-home dads now. And so
For sure.
if your children are school age and you're looking to do something even more so throughout the day, again, just a valuable resource. Highly recommend it. Jessica, for those that are still listening and who have joined us today, any last remarks or final remarks that you might have for them?
I would just say don't quit, because what's the alternative? I think people don't fail, they quit. And if you just keep pushing forward, you just never know how close you are to that next big leader. I'll tell you, my biggest breakthroughs always came, and still do, after my biggest breakdowns. So really quick story, because I know we have to wrap it up, but I think this will hammer it home. When I was building my business, I was working really hard, and I started getting some signups on social media, but I wasn't getting that traction that we all hear about, that, duplication and that walk away income, quote unquote, right? I was just working myself to the bone and barely getting anything for it. And I started questioning if what I'm doing is even right, if I'm on the right path, if I should just quit, if I should do something else. And I think we all go through this, especially as entrepreneurs. We probably go through it more than anybody and on a weekly basis. So if you're not going through that, then you're probably not working hard enough. But, I was just having a pity party, basically. And so I was curled up in the bathroom, on the bathroom floor, and crying my eyes out. And my husband came in. At the time, he wasn't my husband, but he came in and he said, what's wrong with you? Just looking at me like this little mess on the floor. And I told him, I said, it's just not working for me. I'm trying so hard, and nobody's doing anything. It's all my fault. And he said to me, well, then just quit. And he walked right out. And I just looked at him and I said, I can't quit. What are you, crazy? I've come this far. So he knew how to push my buttons. And it just was a realization to me, like, okay, what's the alternative here? Stop having a pity party, pick yourself up, and just move forward. The alternative is not having the life of your dreams, not being an entrepreneur, working for someone else. And so I just went back to it, and maybe 3 or 4 days later, real short time after, I found my first leader who put in $250,000 worth of volume into my business within 45 days. And from there, I just found leader after leader and just started making more money and had my first $10,000 month. And it was just incredible. So, that's just what happens. Your biggest breakthroughs come after your biggest breakdowns, as long as you never quit.
100%. Couldn't agree with you more. Thank you for that. Time went by so quickly. I would love to have you back as my guest to talk about what people can look for when they're actually exploring the industry as a business, but what company they should choose. And also just a little bit more about the mentality side of the business, what one really needs to be coming from, what position, what stance they should be coming from. And I don't like the word should, but we can go there. Would you come back and be a guest of mine again?
Of course. I would love to. Thank you. I'm honored.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And everyone, thank you again for joining us on the Calling the Real You podcast. If those of you would like to join me on Facebook, it's Calling the Real You. It's all one word. There are no spaces, no marks, and the U is capitalized, YOU. Jessica, how is it that people can find you specifically?
You could go to my website. It's just jessicahigdon.com. Very easy.
Beautiful. And just to thank a few other folks who have supported me, of course, my husband, Eric Horton. He's also my best friend and business partner. Without him, I couldn't really be doing any of the things that I love to do. He really makes that possible for me and helps me make it possible for myself. I'd also like to thank Reverend Patricia Brooks for her platform, Sacred Stories, that hosts the Calling the Real You podcast. I'd like to thank Lux Salon and Spa, Yola Portraits, Karen D. Felice Designs, and the transformational music by Jim Oliver, Emmy Award winner. Thank you, everyone, for your support. Jessica, thank you again for coming out, or actually joining us virtually, that is. And thank you to every one of you who are listening. Let's make it a great week. And remember, call the real you out.